Hello and welcome to The Print. Today I shall speak about Nepal-India relations. As a landlocked country bordered by India on three sides and China on the fourth, Nepal is a key constituent of India's neighborhood first policy. After the Chinese occupation of Tibet in the 1950s and the India-China War in 1962, Nepal's role as a buffer state gained prominence. The country's geographical location makes it highly dependent on India for trade and security, particularly basic goods and fuel. However, this near total reliance sometimes casts a shadow over its relationship with India, giving rise to an anti-India sentiment that is often exploited by third parties for their vested interests. As with any two countries that share common borders, India faces several challenges in managing its relationship with Nepal, a country known to be fiercely independent. New Delhi's approach towards Kathmandu needs to keep this aspect in mind. Neither too deep to be seen as interference, nor fully hands off. The latter leaves the field open for other players, notably China, to gain undue influence, making a delicate balancing act crucial. Nepal would like to be left alone to pursue its own independent foreign policy, but that doesn't mean India has to back off completely. Rather, it should work in concert with Nepal as per its needs. The India-Nepal military connect, an often overlooked aspect in the India-Nepal relationship, is the strong military-to-military connect which has not been exploited to its fullest potential. Nepal and India share a unique tradition, possibly the only kind in the world to arise out of the Gorkha connection. The chiefs of army staff of both countries are honorary generals in each other's army. This arrangement allows for greater track to interaction and a free and frank exchange of views, not tied down by diplomatic distinctions. On 25th February 2025, at the invitation of the Nepalese COS, 6 former chiefs of the Indian Army, including myself, visited Nepal and interacted with our Nepalese counterparts both formally and informally. The stay, including visits to the Pashupatinath and Muktinath temples, underscored the deep religious bonds between the two countries and armies and generated immense goodwill. One of the main irritants in the India-Nepal relations is the simmering border dispute over the Kalapani region, which lies at the tri-junction between China, India and Nepal, close to the Lipu Lake Pass. Both countries claim the region as their own, citing historical records and treaties. The issue came to the fore when India published a new political map in 2019 after the abrogation of Article 370, showing the Kalapani region as part of India. Nepal countered by issuing its own political map in 2020, showing this area as part of Nepal. In 2024, it went a step further and showed the contentious areas of Lipu Lake, Limpia Dora and Kalapani on its 100 rupee currency note. It may be noted that this issue normally gets raked up during periods of political instability or in the run-up to elections as a means of garnering popular support. The road to the west of the Kalapani River, being constructed by India, will greatly benefit the people living there and improve connectivity for all. On the ground, a modus vivendi exists between people on both sides of the river who have no animosity towards each other. Building on this ground situation, track 2 dialogues can help the countries arrive at a mutually acceptable solution that can then be taken up through regular channels. Another irritant is the issue of Nepalese Gorkhas in the Indian Army. Nepalese domiciled Gorkhas have been part of the Gorkha regiments of the Indian Army and have fought fiercely in all wars that India has waged, earning a number of gallantry awards. Service in the Indian Army guaranteed them a secure job and a lifetime pension after retirement, along with associated benefits. The Agnipath scheme, announced by the Indian government in 2022, came as a setback to these aspirations, with the Nepalese government deciding not to send their people for recruitment under the new terms and conditions. Notwithstanding, feedback suggests that the youth themselves are not averse to joining the Indian Army, even under the new terms, which are quite generous. An all or nothing policy is not benefiting anyone. Nepali youth should be permitted to join the Indian Army and the genuine concerns of the Nepali side mitigated to the extent possible. The strong link between the two armies, which is the bedrock of sound relations between the two countries, should not be allowed to fade away. Just as India is reaching out to Nepal as a neighboring country, so is China. China's engagement with Nepal, therefore, cannot be always be viewed through the prism of suspicion. Nevertheless, it is true that China has made considerable inroads in Nepal, particularly in trade and commerce. The near monopoly that Indian companies enjoyed is slowly being eroded. For example, Mahindra, a leader in the Nepalese automobile market, is now facing a stiff challenge in the electric vehicle segment, for which it does not, as yet, have a competitive alternative. It is for the Indian companies to rise up to the challenge and come up with new products or new segments in which to trade, rather than lament about Chinese influence. On its part, Nepal is quite clear that it wants good relations with both China and India. While safeguarding its national interest, the country is keenly aware of the importance of its buffer status and would not like to jeopardize that by leaning towards any of its giant neighbours. In the long run, geostrategy and geoeconomics will work to India's advantage. This is General Naravane for ThePrint.